We begin at 6 with today's 46-count criminal indictment against Houston-based Plains All-American Pipeline, the company responsible for the Refugio Oil spill. 4 of those charges are felonies. The pipeline break spilled more than 140,000 gallons of oil across environmentally sensitive land and waters.
News Channel 3 has team coverage of this major development in the case. Tracy Lair looks at what's left to do at this point, but we start with senior reporter John Palmentary, who was at today's press conference. John.
The state of California, the state attorney general, the district attorney of Santa Barbara County coming down very hard on this matter after the devastating oil spill 1 year ago this month up at Refugio. Now this 46-count indictment, a criminal indictment from a criminal grand jury, has been handed down against Plains All-American Pipeline and one of its employees. Top law enforcement officials spoke out today here in Santa Barbara about this investigation and the upcoming date in Santa Barbara Superior Court.
The wildlife that was harmed included 221 birds, 142 mammals. This conduct resulted in devastation to the ecosystem.
The damage from last year's Plains All-American Pipeline disaster along the Santa Barbara County coast is heading into Superior Court with a 46-count indictment from a criminal grand jury. The investigation included numerous local and state agencies, 10 months of reports, and 14 sessions by the grand jury. Some of the specific details, however, remain sealed for now.
The evidence led us to this point of returning this information to you, which is these many counts, the 4 felonies, the 42 misdemeanors. The evidence led us to this place, and the evidence at some point not very far in the distant future will be shared with all of you.
The broken pipeline is believed to have been the result of corrosion that went undetected. The leak sent 140,000 gallons of oil into the soil and ocean and damaged the environmentally sensitive on and offshore area for miles. Company officials were active in the response, but the county says it's had issues in the investigation.
In terms of the criminal prosecution, did I find Plains All-American to be cooperative? No.
One employee has been named in the criminal indictment, James Buchanan, an environmental and regulatory compliance specialist. A conviction could bring 3 years in prison. Charges on the company could come with fines and penalties that are expected to be in the millions.
Corporations cannot be placed in jail. Therefore, it would be a matter of fines and penalties that would be divided between Santa Barbara County and the state.
Sources, we've got the smarts, and we are committed to making sure that there's going to be accountability.
So there are some legal papers that are sealed right now, as we found out today. Some of the real specifics going on here and the details about who was interviewed, what they said to the criminal grand jury, and how they came up with this 46-count indictment. We hope to have those unsealed by the time they get back here to Santa Barbara Superior Court for their hearing on June the 6th. Reporting live in downtown Santa Barbara outside of Superior Court, I'm John Palmentary, News Channel 3.
Okay, thank you, John. The Plains All-American Pipeline Company issued a lengthy written statement regarding today's developments. Here is a portion of it. Quote, Plains believes neither the company nor any of its employees engaged in any criminal behavior at any time in connection with this accident, and criminal charges are unwarranted. We will vigorously defend ourselves against these charges and are confident we will demonstrate that the charges have no merit and represent an inappropriate attempt to criminalize an unfortunate accident, end quote. And we have reaction from other groups tonight. Environmental and political leaders are applauding the charges.
News Channel 3's Tracy Lair joins us live with more on that part of the story tonight. Tracy.
CJ, I'm on the Gaviota coast, and on May 19th of last year, environmentalists flocked here in the evening and hiked down there and filled buckets with oil before an official cleanup had begun. And then they tracked the cleanup for days to come. Today, they are ecstatic. The chief counsel for the Environmental Defense Center said she remembers how the oil company kept saying sorry for the inconvenience to the community. She said they said it over and over, and she felt like they just didn't understand how environmentally conscious this community is, especially because of the '69 spill and the creation of Earth Day.
The importance of a criminal indictment is not only to punish but to deter, and so I think for the other oil companies operating in our region, this is a wake-up call that if you cause something like this to happen in our community, there are going to be major ramifications.
Now, members of Channel Keeper also responded. They said that this sends a big message to other people and that they'll be tracking all the oil seeps and trying to make sure if there's another spill that the word gets out quicker than it did this time. And many of these environmentalists will be watching the court case as it heads to court on June 2nd in Department 6. Reporting live on the Gaviota Coast, which some people call the Galapagos of North America, Tracy Lair, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Tracy. Obviously, the oil spill had environmental impacts that you couldn't necessarily see. Mark Tautram, owner of Aurelia Ranch at Refugio, drove down for this morning's press conference. He says he's glad litigation is moving forward, but disappointed that no one from our DA's office ever talked to him and other ranchers above the spill site. Despite dozens of air quality samples taken after the spill that turned up negative, Tautram is convinced fumes wafting up to the ranches above the 101 were dangerous.
I'm sure they would have seen some sort of readings on their meters. I mean, you could not stand there. You could not breathe. You would have passed out if you stayed in that area.
An out-of-state agency headed up the air monitoring and sampling following the spill. The Center for Toxicology and Environmental Health is based in Little Rock, Arkansas. Stay tuned to News Channel 3 for continuing coverage of the Refugio Oil spill. We will bring you the very latest reactions to these new